All right, everybody. We are back with Kenzie Davis, LMFT, and we are discussing a lot of new topics this year. This is our first therapist chat convo that we have done. And we're talking about something that's really important, and we're talking about self-worth and self-value, and specifically how it relates to the BIPOC community. Martin Luther King Day was just a few days ago, and so we're kind of reflecting on that as well. And so, Kenzie, just kick us off and tell me, like, you write a lot about the kind of the difficulty that arises for just about self-worth in general, and then about why that specifically is an issue with people in the Black community. So tell me a little bit about that and where those two things meet.
Yes, I think that is a deep question. I want to figure out where I want to go with that.
Yeah.
First, I want to say, right, for BIPOC, right, if anyone doesn't know, it means Black, Indigenous, and people of color. So that's the community that we're talking about when we say BIPOC. For me, right, I identify as African American, right, and so for me, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of privilege around knowing my history, right? Where I come from, my family lineage, things like that, right? And so I think for me, that was a part of my self-worth, knowing where I come from. Right? And so I think as far as being Black, right, or a person of color, Indigenous, right, and self-worth, I think there's a lot of different factors for this community. That's personal experience as far as history and things like that. But then as well as right, culturally, right, as far as what's accepted, what's looked down on, what's right, that's not okay, right? That's not professional or things like that. Right? So sometimes you have to kind of die down who you are a little bit, right, to be accepted or to be liked in this world.
If I'm understanding you correctly, like the dominant cultural narrative is one thing, and when it comes in conflict with how you present yourself as a Black woman, like that's where those things become a challenge.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and the messaging is I have to dial down those parts of me to be able to be accepted in whatever the culturally dominant narrative is that we're talking about, right?
That's right. That's right. So, right, our self-worth is it can be battled, right, as far as external or internal, right? So there's external things that try to battle against our self-worth, but then sometimes it's even from within, right? The own things that we think about ourselves.
Yeah, there's that internal dialogue that you're having, all right, that affects how your self-worth is. I'm interested too, like, because I think for anybody that for myself, like that, where that's not my identity and not my experience, when you talk about history, right? Like, because you're not just talking about and where you come from. You're not talking about like, oh, my family's from North Carolina, right? Exactly. You're talking about history in a much bigger context. Can you talk about that just a little bit more, like and how that, I'm guessing, feels really muddy for you, and for other people of color, based on our country's history, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, right? I believe, right, I'm here because of the slave trade, right? I'm here because of my ancestors, right, were brought here through slavery. And so because of that, right, my ancestors were property and maybe we were sold off, and right, our family lineage isn't documented, right, as well as maybe other cultures. And so when it comes to trying to figure out who I am, where do I even come from, right? What part of Africa or the Caribbean, or right? I can't, I don't know. I can't go to my local library and just
find
right.
out.
Yeah. So for me, that's been a part of just learning who I am, right? Learning my history more as much as I can, right? Because I went to public school, and unfortunately, right, there was not a lot of classes or curriculum, right, in the public school around, right, Black history in the way that really would help me, right, in my self-worth, my self-esteem, and things like that.
Yeah, but I think there's a for I think for white people in particular, I don't know that I was ever taught about like the importance of that and the importance of ancestral history, right? And but at the same time, because I think there's such a root in like this, like there's a root for white people in general that this country is ours, right? There's that ownership of it that I don't. That just sounds to me like it is complicated for people of color, rightly so and understandably so. And so like that we that is does it the word that comes to mind, and you tell me if this is accurate, is it's almost seems like that disconnection from that ancestral history. There's almost like an unmooring or a like that, and I'm trying to make that connection between what that having that would do for your self worth, right? Have you been able to kind of draw that connection for yourself of like, when I have this, if I knew this, this is how it would translate to self worth.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense of the question?
I think I'm following you, and I want to say because I've doing my own research, I went to DC and went to the African American History
Yes.
Museum, right, and just being able to see all these people that look like me, right, that have been through these really adverse challenges. It does help with my self-worth as far as like I come from a powerful group of people, right? I come from a determined
Yes.
group of people.
Yes.
And so it is very helpful, even though I can't actually say, hey, this person is a part of my family, right?
Yeah.
I guess in the BIPOC community, right, we somewhat easily call each other cousins or sisters or
Yes.
brothers, right, in that way. And so still kind of family.
Yeah, like that makes so much sense to me. It's like that when you have a sense of root, when you have a sense of where your roots are and where the foundations are that you come from, there it's like that identifier of we come from powerful people, we come from resilient people, we come from joyful people, like those things. I can see how that then translates into this into this internal, it becomes a part of your inner monologue and your internal dialogue.
That's
Right. I'm guessing does that feel like that gets incorporated into that internal narrative as well for you?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the cultural piece, and then I want to talk about kind of like how to move this forward, like that cultural piece of like that if the dominant cultural narrative is if your expression of who you are as a person of color comes into contrast with that, the messaging from the cultural narrative is that those expressions are less than or not appropriate or inferior. Is that
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what does that like either for yourself or you can talk more generally if you like as well as like how does that impact you and impact that self-worth if the messaging is continually
Mm-hmm.
that expression, that part of you is inferior?
Yeah, I think that those internal messages, right? Well, I'm not enough, right?
Yes.
I'm not showing up the way that's appropriate or the way I need to be, right? So now I'm looking within and trying to figure out what's wrong with me, right? That I'm
uh,
not meeting the mark, right? I'm not what the people want, or whatever the case is, right? So
yeah.
it does turn into internal messages of negative self-talk.
Yeah, it gets internalized, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is such a big thing, right? Because that's how we talk a lot with clients when we talk about self-worth. I know one of the things that we talk about is like whether that's intrinsic or extrinsic, right? Am I getting my self-worth from other people? Am I getting my self-worth from other circumstances, or do I have an internal sense of self-worth? And if those messages are so loud and so pervasive that they then I internalize those messages and become like self-worth and self-value become a big, huge challenge. Right. And that makes sense to me, like where that's going to come from. So tell me a little bit about kind of what are the things that you think are really helpful here that if somebody is experiencing a very low internal self-worth or a very low internal value for themselves, particularly for people of color, like what is that? What are the things that you would recommend saying, hey, you need to start doing these things to really kind of cultivate that?
Yeah. I think one is really exploring who you are, right? And if you can,
Yeah.
where you come from, if there's someone that's in your circle or right that I don't know, there's a resource that you have that you can kind of dig into. maybe your culture or your history in that way. Because there's always someone that's a little bit more educated, right, than us, and
Yeah.
is proud, right? There's some people that have internal racism, right? So they don't even like what color they are, or right, who they
Yeah.
are. And so being around someone that's proud of what they are, who they are in that way.
Yes.
And so kind of letting that rub off on you, but also, right, it's some soul searching here as well, right? You have to be honest with yourself and figure out what are your passions, right? What are your fears? What are your
Yeah.
weaknesses? What are your strengths, right? And so
Yeah.
really taking time to understand who you are, right, as a person, who what's in
Yeah.
your heart and your soul in that way. Uh,
Yes.
and I would say the next step is just self acceptance. Once you figure out
Mm.
who you are and everything that is you, that makes you you, accept it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Just being
Yes.
okay with being you in that way.
Yeah. And that move towards self-acceptance, I know how challenging that can be, right? It's an easy thing for us to talk about.
Hmm.
But I imagine, like, to me, one of the things I'm hearing too is that there's a lot of bravery involved in showing up. I think for anybody across the board, there's a lot of bravery that's required to be able to show up fully as yourself, to accept yourself, and then show up that way. A lot of times, but I know that there's the challenge for people of color to fully show up as themselves, because of because of racism, because of cultural narratives, because of white privilege. Like, it takes a lot, at least my understanding of it, and please tell me if I'm wrong, to show up, but to be able to show up fully as yourself takes a lot of courage. And I'm wondering, like, from your experience, how do you cultivate that courage to be able to be that brave, right? Because that, to me, that sounds like there's like, for people of color to show up fully as themselves is a bravery that I don't know anything about. So I'm wondering, like, how does that come about? Does that make sense? Like, how does that come about? Like, how do you cultivate that? There's that self-acceptance piece, and there's that, like, standing on the foundation of your history, and knowing who you are, and then working towards self-acceptance. It seems to me like there's still that element of, like, how do we get the courage to then be able to show up as ourselves?
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that comes with practice. I feel like um
Oh, that's good.
just because, right, I think as you build on your self-worth, right, you begin to see, right, that what you have to say matters, that you matter, right? You may not think that when your self-worth is
Yeah.
low or don't, right? And so as you begin to build that self-worth, as you begin to change, right, the negative self-talk, the positive self-talk, and right, as you begin to um right, quiet that critical voice that will still come up even though
Yes.
you're in adversity or you're faced in a situation, when you can overpower, right, that critical voice, and believe, right, the affirming words you're telling yourself, and actually believe, right,
Mm.
the positive things. I think that's helpful in really stepping in to whatever the situation is as yourself and
Mm.
honoring yourself, right? That's what it's about, kind of
Yes.
honoring yourself and your feelings and your words. And so I think it comes with practice.
I love that, because I do think that a lot of times we think that things should just come naturally to us, and, like, once we kind of make that connection in our head. But I
Mhm.
love that idea that it's honoring yourself, it's respecting yourself, and then it's practicing
Mhm.
how you show up authentically in the world. And I think that's excellent. I think thank you so much for this conversation. Like, it's really helpful for me, and I love learning from you about this topic for sure. And then at the same time, I want to say, like, therapy is really important in this area, right? Like, it's
Mhm.
super important to help kind of, like, work through. And I always say that I think therapy a lot of times is just discovering the truth about yourself, right? And so it seems even more relevant here that therapy can really help, right, improve your self-worth, but particularly to address some of the issues that the BIPOC community is facing. Can you just say a little bit about that? Like, what's the value to you in therapy, specifically in this area that we're talking about today?
Yeah, I think for me, I think the biggest thing with my clients is for them to know that the power is already, they already have it, right? And it's
Yeah.
already within their selves. And so whenever I'm able to see someone of the BIPOC community, right, and we can work towards them already understanding, right, that they are more than
Yes.
enough, right? That they're unique. There's
Love
something
it.
about them that I don't have, that you don't have.
Yes.
And so when they're able to really realize and believe that, I think that's really powerful in them going to whatever the goal is after that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's not easier to achieve, but I think you have a little bit more momentum, right? And a little bit more motivation because you have that belief in yourself. And I think everything that's foundational, right? And anything that we do, we have to believe in ourselves, right? And believe that we're worth the opportunity or the love or this life, right? And so that's why it's important for me in therapy.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for initiating this conversation and participating so freely with me in it. And if you do need an awesome therapist like Kenzie or somebody else, we have therapists that have openings and Mathews Counseling. Just please feel free to reach out on our website at mathewscounseling.net. Kenzie, thanks again, and everybody else, we'll see you next time.
Bye.